everybody, Ian Manning from the Orthocore Performance Center, and today what I want to talk to you about is shoulder separation and hip separation. And the reason why I want to talk to you about it is because oftentimes we see people and clients and golfers who want to get to the top of their backswing, but it's a matter of how you're getting to the top of your backswing. So too many times I see people get to the top with their shoulders, but their hips aren't separating. So they're bringing their shoulders and their hips along for the ride, which has a lot of problems associated with it, but mostly what we see is if your hips over-rotate in your backswing, then it leads to less of a rotation at the impact and more of kind of a slide or a sway in your swing. So how do we train that? What do we do with that? And that's where the K-Vest comes in. We get our biofeedback of where our hips and our shoulders are in space, and we see where your separation is, and we can start to train it. So if you see me behind, I have my hips, which can rotate, and then my shoulders, which can rotate. So if I come to the top of my backswing, my hips are stopped, my shoulders keep going, and you hear that chime. So you want to set your hips, create that separation at the top. But what I see a lot of is people will bring their hips along and their shoulders get rotated, but the hips have now gone through their rotation. So you're not creating that stretch between the two. So what I would rather see is somebody's hips stop in that green, and then their shoulders stop where they can, versus everything coming along for the ride and getting to that top of the backswing position. It's more beneficial for you to stop your hips and stop your shoulders where that separation happens versus continuing through, because it leads to those problems that I talked about. So how do we train that? What do we do? A lot of times the restriction in the separation comes from your chest or your thoracic spine. You don't get enough rotation. What I'm going to show you next is an exercise that we can do with the K-Vest to help to promote that separation and that rotation to lead to a better top of your backswing position. All right, so we've talked about what we're looking at as far as separation of shoulders from hips, and now we're going to talk about how do we create that. So a lot of people don't have the range of motion that they need in their thoracic spine or in their rib cage to separate their shoulders from their hips without bringing their hips along for the ride in the backswing. So I have set up here with the K-Vest system a biofeedback exercise that works on that exact thing, that separation. So you're going to get into a half kneeling position. Half kneeling position forces stability of your hips, so it doesn't allow your hips to rotate. And then you can take your arms across your chest, and you can see behind me, I'm going to turn till we get into a range, and you're going to get the chime. Okay, so you can work on repetitions of this. I'm going to turn, breathe, and I like to do it with the leg up, because with the leg up, it forces that pelvis to stop rotating. So if I just let my legs go along for the ride, you can see that's really easy for me. But if I force my leg to stop and work on that rotation, it's actually pretty hard. So you're working on that true separation of your shoulders from your hips. You work on repetitions on both sides. So you can see for me, rotating to impact is really easy. But actually rotating to my backswing is a little bit stiffer. So I need to work on it just as much as everybody else. But I have this biofeedback system that's going to tell me exactly where I am in space. So you're truly working on that separation versus just working on your hips and your shoulders working at the same time. So you're going to create that separation, you're going to create a better swing, and not only that, you're going to be playing pain-free. If you have any questions, please comment below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.